What's up, everyone? Happy Monday. Hashtag team chat.
Oh,
Let's
wow.
go.
He came with props.
To the fantasy football game.
Team Joey, Team Joey.
Oh,
It's a flip-flop shirt.
It's
Oh.
gotta represent.
Well,
Got it.
you're up against some competition today.
Oh, there we go.
Guys, we are starting the Monday off hot with some cool shirts in here. We're joined by our friend Dustin Ludke here with us. Joey Wright, John Luke Garofalo, and myself, Simon Grunewald, here for the Fantasy Football Game Show brought to you by Front Yard Fantasy. And boy, do we have a good game today, primarily because our great friend Dustin is here with us with the hashtag team chat shirt on. What's up, Dustin? Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me on. It's been too long. I had to bail last time, got stuck in a work meeting, so happy to be on start this Monday. The Monday of my birthday and JL and Maria's wedding, so that's an exciting week.
Let's go.
Oh, we got a good week ahead of us, a good show ahead of us right here. Everybody watching, if you're not already following our friend Dustin, you should go and fix that right now. You can find him on Twitter at the D Unit 13.
That's right.
It's the D Unit 13. That's the only way one would ever pronounce it here on the Fantasy Football Game Show. He's the content director over at Dynasty Pros, the growth and planning strategist at Front Office Pros, and a contributor over at Dynasty Nerds in the QB list. So if you're looking for his work, that's where you can find it. Jail and Joey, I didn't mean to skip over you guys. How are you doing today?
Yeah, you did.
You're right. I totally did it on purpose to get to Dustin.
I'm good. I have a personal thing that's happening today, and I kind of talked about it before the show with the guys. My childhood crush is coming to my house in like 45 minutes. My stepfather used to have a variety band, and she was his like female lead singer. So I was like 7 years old. She was like 19. It was like, oh. So I haven't seen her in like 30 years. So it's gonna
Big
be really
day.
fun.
Big day.
Yeah. So I got married though, so you missed your shot. You know,
You had a chance and you blew it.
So just go home. You came here for nothing.
Yep.
We got Jay in the chat saying that shirt is going to make me cry. Me too. The hashtag team
can't
Joey.
read.
Who's going to be his competition today? So I have a feeling that shirt might be flipped backwards by the end of today's show. We got Craig in here with the hashtag Grimace Gang. Jail, show him that shirt one more time.
Shout
Today's
out,
guest is making his fourth FYF appearance and playing in his fourth FYF game. Dustin is 2-1 so far, but has not yet played Fantasy Fortune. How you feeling
1-1
about
in
Fortune,
Jeopardy
Dustin?
and 1-0 in quote McQuote face / vague descriptions.
How do you feel about your odds in Fortune? You watch it in the chat often. You're always throwing the answers down there. It feels like you're one of the ones coming in solving the puzzles early. Do you like your odds on today's show?
I like my odds to solve the puzzles, but then it dawned on me about an hour ago that answering questions to get letters, I haven't really practiced that much.
Sometimes you get in here on a Monday and you're like, well, I know DJ Moore did good, but I have no idea
No
how many
clue.
receiving yards he had.
Yeah.
And you didn't realize it till I asked you. Joey in the chat with the hashtag team Dustin. It's a love fest here today on the FYF
man.
Game Show. Albert in here saying hello, everyone. What's up, Albert? Welcome.
What up,
in.
Albert?
We got Maria in here saying, I almost forgot y'all existed for a while. Well, glad to have you back. Thanks for remembering us.
Yeah, write us down this time.
Thursday,
Please.
Maria.
You remember JL too.
Yeah.
He's got a pretty important appointment with you this week. if I
There's
remember
still time.
correctly. Craig said, I forgot I exist too, Maria. Been there, Craig.
Craig, write it down, buddy.
Mr. Scampers in here said, I'm just a very dumb chat bot. Happy Monday, FYF fam.
Come on, it's
Dustin!
right there in front of
Yeah.
you, Scampers.
And Maria saying it's all simulation anyways. And Craig said, I believe
That's
that
true.
more and more every day. JL, are we living in a simulation?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Give me one piece of evidence.
Travis Kelce.
Okay, that's fair. 100%.
What?
That is evidence enough. Like who?
How?
Excuse me?
I'll
Have
tell you
seen
why
that?
it's not a simulation, because my wife had no clue what I was doing when I was making this shirt this weekend. She was like, what is hashtag team chat? And I was like, it's a long story. And then I put hashtag team Joe. She's like, what is that? I was like, long story. Don't worry about it.
That's my internet lover. He likes to post pictures
Yeah.
of his feet on Twitter.
Yep.
As you roll your eyes.
I regret that every day. Every day. Like you just mentioned it, and I was like, what the hell was I thinking? 5.
Now you're that guy. Now you're the one who did
Now
it.
you're the feet guy.
No.
We got Bob Harris stopping by. What's up, Bob? Welcome in,
Oi.
my friend.
Oh,
And our friend
wow.
Dame in here as well with the good afternoon FYF peeps.
What up,
What
Dame?
up, Dame? Well, we got a full squad here in the chat to watch Dustin take on John Luke and Joey in some fantasy fortune today. We're going to get into that here in a moment. Before we do, though, a couple reminders. First and foremost, I said it once. I'm going to say it now, and I'll probably say it again before the end of the show, unless something catastrophic happens to me and I have to leave. Or I guess if just the internet goes out, that could cause it to happen as well. Go follow Dustin on Twitter. Check him out at the D Unit 13. And make sure you check out his work over at Dynasty Nerds in the QB list as well. He's putting out straight facts to help you guys succeed, not just in redraft, but he's a big Dynasty guy as well over there. You're going to want to get his Dynasty finds.
Unless you like Trevor Lawrence, don't check out my work this week. So,
Jalen and I will be staying away. Whatever else,
I
read a little
I
extra
guess I have
for us.
free weekend plans now.
Cancel. Oh, because you weren't busy already.
No.
Yeah.
After you follow Dustin, head on back over here to our YouTube channel at Front Yard Fantasy. Or if you're watching on BSN, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell is the easiest way to make sure you never miss us live every day at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Well, we got Monday Night Football in a couple hours, but we got Fantasy Fortune right now. I'm going to pull this up, explain how it's going to work, and then we are going to get started. For those of you that have seen the popular TV show Wheel of Fortune, this is going to look pretty familiar, and it's going to work in a very similar way. A puzzle is going to go up on the board, but instead of spinning the wheel when it's our contestants' turn, they will be answering 50-50 NFL or fantasy-related trivia questions. If they get the question right, they're going to get to guess a consonant that they think appears in the puzzle that is on the board. For every instance of the consonant that shows up, you're going to add $500 to your round bank. Now, you can do this up to 3 times in a row. That is, answer a question correctly, guess a consonant correctly. After that third time, if you got all of those right, your turn is going to be over, but you'll have 5 seconds to try to solve the puzzle first. The good news is, though, you're going to bank all of that money if you did that. Now, your turn will also end if at any point during your turn you get a question wrong or a letter wrong. Immediately over. Do not bank your money. Do not pass go, set a tier, and watch your opponent succeed because of your failure. During your turn, though, if you haven't missed anything yet, there are 2 other options you can take. You can choose to buy a vowel as long as you have $500 in your round bank. They're going to cost $100 per instance of the vowel that shows up to a max of $500. You can also choose to solve the puzzle at any point during your turn before a question has been asked. This will either bank all of the money that you've earned up to that point or bank $1,000, whichever is higher. We're going to go like this till we run out of puzzles or run out of time, at which point the person with the most money banked is our Fantasy Fortune champion for today. We will have your Kohl's Cash facts to you 48 business fortnights. All right. The order has been set, Dustin, Joey, JL, but that doesn't really matter because we've got a toss-up puzzle where all the rules we just said get thrown out the window, and the order is determined by who solves this one first. I'm going to slowly reveal letters of an NFL player's name. When you think you know who it is, buzz in by saying your own name. Get it right, you're going to earn $500 and the opportunity to go first on our first real puzzle. Get it wrong, well, that sucks. You're out for this round. Good luck next time. You guys ready?
Yep.
Let me remember what player this is. I got to pull up my answer key. Here we
That's
go.
the worst. Yeah.
Buzz in by saying your name.
Dustin.
Okay, Dustin, before any letters are revealed, would like to take a shot at this.
Don't do it.
Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy is incorrect. But Mr. Brock Purdy is showing up week in, week out this year so far. I'm going to start revealing letters. Joey and John Luke. Dustin has bonked himself out of this round, but you guys can still buzz in to answer.
Joey.
Okay, Joey, who is this?
Romeo Dobbs.
Joey, this is Romeo Dobbs, and right now on rtsports.com in the DFS Pick'em contest, he is sitting at 50.5 receiving yards. So if you think he's set for a letdown after that 95 receiving yard game last week, or you think he can keep it up, pick him and up to 5 more players on rtsports.com in their Pick'em contest right now. If you go to rtsports.com/alarm, you're going to get a 100% instant match up to $200. Not too late for that Monday Night Football. Congratulations, Joey. This is, in fact, Romeo Dobbs. Joey, how are you feeling about Mr. Dobbs tonight? It's 2 good weeks in a row, 12 targets, 13 targets. You think he's going to keep that up?
I do. I think that's going to be his role for the Packers, like intermediate targets, 10 to 15 yard receptions, and he'll get like 6 or 7 of them a game. I like him a lot. I think I said the other week, you think of it like a poor man's Buccaneers situation with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. He's kind of the Chris Godwin role. So, yeah, I do like him quite a bit.
Dustin, how do you feel about Dobbs tonight in this matchup against the Raiders?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to feast. I think they're the poor man Buffalo Bills, where he's the Stephon Diggs and Christian Watson is the poor man Gabe Davis, where Christian Watson is just boom or bust. Dubs is going to get a ton of targets. Raiders kind of suck. So the only issue is that if the Packers get up early and then they have to run the ball, and they have running backs who should be good, but they just haven't seen it much. So if Aaron Jones could have a big game, if the Raiders can't score points, it does sound like Jimmy Garoppolo is going to play. So I like him to stay in it. But that's my only fear with the receivers for Green Bay, is that they get a early lead and then have to run a little more because they want to eat the clock. But I like Dubs tonight.
Jill, following up on this, Albert had a question for us. Said, I need 10 points tonight. Who should I start, Romeo Doubs or Christian Watson? Full PPR. John, look, if you're Albert, which one are you plugging in?
I'm starting Watson. I'm going for that big play.
One thing you need to go right instead of a bunch of little ones.
Single play, yeah.
Dustin, you agree in here?
I mean, yeah, you probably need to go for the upside. Dubs should get close to 10 points, but I think Christian Watson could, again, do it in 1-2 plays. So depends on your risk tolerance. I'm a low risk person, so I would go Dubs, but I understand the play for Christian Watson.
Joey, break the tie here.
It's Watson.
Watson, double Watson, single Dubs. We'll see who's right. Grim had another question for us before we move on to our next puzzle. Justin Herbert or Jalen Hurts, full PPR for next week. The PPR likely won't come into play. And now that I say that, one of these guys is going to catch a pass next week. Dustin, do you have a preference between these two star quarterbacks in week 6?
I like Jalen Hurts just because of the rushing upside. I mean, if anybody's going to catch a pass, it's Hurts. They might throw out some wonky trick play. But I like Hurts. I think he just has a higher upside than Herbert does.
Joey, you agreeing with Dustin here?
I didn't look at the matchups. Tell me who they play, Simon, and I'll tell you who I like.
Okay.
Herbert plays Dallas. And
Herbert plays Dallas?
Yeah.
The Eagles have the Jets.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts against the Jets. What about you, John Luke?
Yeah, it would probably be Jalen Hurts against the Jets, but I don't think Justin Herbert's going to have too bad of a week next week.
You're going to be happy with either one of these guys. One more question here from Grim fan before we get into our next puzzle here. Grim wanted to know, is the third string Bears running back worth a look next week? So Khalil Herbert injured, Roschon Johnson entered concussion protocol. Dustin, are you digging further down the step chart, or are you staying away?
It depends on if they activate Deontay Foreman. If he's the guy, yes. If it's not him, then no.
It's about where I stand as well. And I'm holding on to Roschon Johnson and hoping that he gets out of concussion protocol. That's really the back I'm looking at. I don't think you need to add the third string. The second string's on the waiver wire in quite a few leagues. So I'd be going to check for Roschon Johnson out there. All
Foreman,
right.
though, in fill-in situations with Carolina was really good.
Yeah.
So
and he's fresh. He hasn't played hardly at all. So
it's interesting.
His legs are ready. Well, guys, we got a rhyme time puzzle here now. This is going to be a rhyme involving a player's name, something like drinking soda with Marcus Mariota or a romantic trip in France with Trey Lance. Joe, you solved that last puzzle, the toss-up, which means you get to go first in this puzzle. Would you like a question, or would you like to YOLO, no letter, solve this?
No, not puzzle? On rhyme time. Not on rhyme time. I'll take a question, please.
Okay, Joey, who had more PPR fantasy points in week 5? All of my fantasy points questions will be PPR unless stated otherwise. Who had more PPR fantasy points in week 5? Was it Adam Thielen or was it Puka Nacua?
Puka Nacua.
I'm sorry, Joey. It was Adam Thielen, who was
like
the
25 points.
Number 4 PPR wide receiver on the week.
Stupid.
John Luke, it's your turn to back that up. Would you like a question, or would you like to no letter solve this puzzle?
I got really lucky. I threw Adam Thielen in my lineup last minute this week. I'll take a question.
My question for you is, who has more PPR fantasy points in week 5? Who had more PPR fantasy points in week 5? Was it A.J. Brown or was it George Pickens?
Pickens.
Pickens is correct. Which letter would you like?
Let's go with an N.
An N. There are 3 N's in this puzzle. Going to earn you 1,500. What you're going to do, JL, you can purchase a vowel, take another question, or solve this puzzle.
Let's take another question.
Okay, another question. Joe, what I want to know is who had more PPR fantasy points in week 5? Who had more PPR fantasy points in week 5? Was it Kendre Miller or was it Jaleel McLaughlin?
I don't know how much Jaleel had. I know Kendre Miller got like 11. So I'll go with him.
I'm sorry, Dale. It was Jaleel McLaughlin. You were just about right with Kendre Miller's, but Jaleel McLaughlin, unfortunately, at 17.9, which means we are on to Dustin. Dustin, would you like a question or would you like to solve this puzzle?
Give me a question.
Okay. My question for you is, who had more PPR fantasy points in week 5? Who had more PPR fantasy points in week 5? Was it Marquise Brown or was it DeAndre Hopkins?
Hopkins.
Hopkins is correct. A good week there in Tennessee. Which letter would you like, Dustin?
Give me a T.
A T. There's one T in this puzzle. Going to add 500. You can buy a vowel, you can solve, or you can take another question.
Give me a question.
Okay. Who had more PPR fantasy points in week 5? Who had more PPR fantasy points in week 5? Was it Michael Pittman Jr. or was it Josh Downs?
Oh, man. Downs.
It was Downs. Nice job, Dustin. Which letter would you like?
Give me an H.
An H. There are 2 H's in this puzzle. Going to add a grand. This is your last opportunity to buy vowels this round if you would like to do so, or we can move on to your third question unless you'd like to solve.
No, give me a third question.
Okay, question 3. Get this right and get the letter right. You're going to add all this money to your round bank. Who had more PPR fantasy points in week 5? Who had more PPR fantasy points in week 5? Was it DeAndre Swift or was it Zach Moss?
Zach Moss.
Zach Moss is correct. Which letter would you like, Dustin?
Let me take the gimme. Give me a W.
A W. There's one W in this puzzle. Going to add 500. You've got 5 seconds to solve before we move on to Joey. It didn't show up in that brain of yours in time, which means you're going to bank $2,000. But Joey, it is now your turn. Would you like a question or would you like to solve this puzzle?
I would like a question. I've gotten nowhere with this puzzle.
Okay. Joey, my question for you is, who had more PPR fantasy points in week 5? Who scored more PPR fantasy points in week 5? Was it Christian McCaffrey or was it Devon Achane?
Oh, Achane.
It was Achane.
Was
Which letter
it?
would you
Okay,
like, Joe?
good. I'll take a G.
A G. There are 3 G's in this puzzle. Going to bring you $1,500. You can buy a vowel, you can solve, or you can take your second question.
Let's buy some vowels.
Okay.
I.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 I's, Joey. Going to bring you down to 1,000. Your options remain the same.
Question, please.
Okay. Question number 2. Who had more PPR fantasy points in week 5? Who had more PPR fantasy points in week 5? Was it Emari DeMarcado or was it Tyjae Spears?
Spears had the touchdown. I'm going to go Emarcado.
I'm sorry, Joey. It was Tyjae Spears.
Simon, get
Tyjae
over
Spears
yourself.
is the RB8 on the week, which means we are on to John Luke. John Luke, would you like a question or would you like to solve this puzzle?
I would like to take a question.
Oh, and you had $1,500 sitting there before we
How dare you?
Money. I gave it back.
Thank you.
My question for you is, who had more PPR fantasy points in week 5? Who had more PPR fantasy points in week 5? Was it Raheem Mostert or was it Breece Hall?
Breece Hall.
Breece Hall is correct, John Luke. Which letter would you like?
Let's go with an L.
An L. There are no L's in this puzzle. Bad luck. Which means, Dustin, we're on to you. You can solve or you can take a question here.
Man, I want some money, so give me a question.
Okay. My question for you is, who had more PPR fantasy points in week 5? Who had more PPR fantasy points in week 5? Was it Darren Waller or was it Dallas Goedert?
Dallas Goedert.
It was Dallas Goedert. Which letter would you like?
Let's see. Which one's going to give me the most money? Give me a C.
Oh, he thinks he's got it. There are 3 C's in this puzzle. Going to add 1,500. What's it going to be now, Dustin? Another question, by vowel, or solve?
Man, I can rack up some points. Let me just solve.
Okay.
Raisin Chickens with George Pickens.
This is Raising Chickens with George
Nice.
Pickens. He must subscribe to Backyard Chickens on Reddit with the beautiful hens that he's raising. Dustin, George Pickens had himself a week this week. Looked all right out there. Do you think we're seeing the emergence of him as the top receiving option on this team?
I mean, he is for now until I think Deontay Johnson goes back. I still think that offense is suboptimal. Like, Kenny Pickett is not great. Najee Harris is not great. They're just going to be behind, which helps George Pickens. So I think he's a wide receiver 3 flex play for your fantasy team every week. I just don't know if there's enough upside with Kenny Pickett throwing the ball right now, and Matt Canada still being there. So maybe if they fire Matt Canada and they redo that offense, he can go well. So you might want to buy the dip, but he's okay. He's not great.
I think he's perfect for where. I think he's perfect for what spot he plays on your roster, which you mentioned, Dustin, the wide receiver 3 flex spot.
Yeah.
George Pickens is exactly the type of player you want in that spot. He's not great every single week. There's some weeks where he gets 8 points, some weeks where he gets 5 points, but then he's got that big play upside, that 22-point upside that we saw in weeks 2 and 26 points this past week. Yeah, I think George Pickens is solid for where you drafted him.
The chat was on this one. Cody Smith came in here, said George Pickens. Tim came in and said chickens. And then Grim put it all together, raising chickens with George Pickens. But then Cody said, please be bribing chickens with George Pickens. What are you bribing them to do?
Why please be? Why are you so pressed to bribe some chickens?
Carlos said George Pickens is my favorite menace. Says he loves some George Pickens out there. Well, Dustin, you got a nice little lead here after the first puzzle, but it is still early. Joey, you are going to be up first in this next one. Are you ready?
Yep.
Let's do it. Puzzle number 3 coming your way. And this is courtesy of our friend Craig, an NFL player food mashup. I forgot what it was for a second, and then I remembered. Joey, you are up first. Would you like a question or would you like to solve this puzzle?
Question, please.
Okay, Joey, what I want to know is who had more passing yards in week 5? Who had more passing yards in week 5? Was it Tua Tagovailoa or was it Sam Howell?
Sam Howell.
Sam Howell is correct. The passing yards leader in week 5. Which letter would you like, Joey?
R.
R. There are no R's in this puzzle. I am so sorry. John Luke.
You asshole. Laughed at me when I miss a letter. So
guessed R. You whiffed.
Would you like a question, Jay?
I'll take a question.
Like to solve? Okay. My question for you is who had more passing yards in week 5? Who had more passing yards in week 5? Was it CJ Stroud or was it Joe Burrow?
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow is correct. He showed up this week.
Good job, Jay. I'll getting that question correct. I'm
Thank
proud
you.
of you.
I can't wait for the first time I get one wrong. I'll take a T.
There are no T's.
Here it is, Joe. That's your shot.
No, I'm not like that.
Nah, man. That's you. Dustin.
Bonk!
Both of your competitors have bonked on some of the most common letters in the English language. Some may argue this is poor puzzle design, but I argue you haven't seen the puzzle yet. Would you like a question or would you like to solve?
Give me a question.
Okay, who had more passing yards in week 5? Who had more passing yards in week 5? Was it Jared Goff or was it Desmond Ridder?
Ooh. Give me Jared Goff.
I am sorry. It was Desmond Ridder, the number 3 passer on the week, had about 100 more yards than Goff. There were some non-prolific passers that showed up this weekend with some high passing yard totals. Joey, it is your turn. Would you like a question or would you like to solve?
Question.
Okay. Who had more rushing yards in week 5? Who had more rushing yards in week 5? Was it Joe Mixon or was it Travis Etienne?
Travis Etienne.
Travis Etienne is correct. Which letter would you like, Joey?
C.
There are 2 C's in this puzzle. Going to add $1,000 to your score. What next, huh? Vowels? Questions? Solve?
Vowel. An E.
There are 4 E's in this puzzle. Your options remain the same.
Don Cheadle. It's a Don Cheadle, I swear to God.
I forgot the L. Damn it.
Question, please.
Okay, Joey, with the second question. Joey, who had more rushing yards in week 5? Who had more rushing yards in week 5? Was it Justin Fields or was it Alvin Kamara?
Alvin Kamara.
Alvin Kamara is correct, Joey. Nice job. Which letter would you like?
S.
S. There are 2 S's in this puzzle. This is your last opportunity to buy more vowels if you would like to do so, or you can take another question.
I think I know it. No, I want a question.
And say it.
Okay, my question for you is who had more receiving yards in week 5? Who had more receiving yards in week 5? Was it Kyle Pitts or was it Dallas Goedert?
I saw Kyle Pitts has some fantasy points, but I was watching the Eagles game. I'm gonna just go with Goddard because I saw him a lot.
You would be correct, Joey. 117 yards to Kyle Pitts, 87. Which letter would you like?
I'll take the S. H. Sorry.
There is one H
Okay.
in this puzzle. Going to add 500. Joey, you have 5 seconds to solve, but you're going to bank all
geez.
this money.
It's Mac Jonesy and cheese. Jonesy and cheese. Sorry.
This is
Okay.
Macajonesy and
Macajonesy
cheese,
and
Joey.
cheese.
That is
All
absolutely
right.
correct.
Thank you for giving that to me.
That's going to bank you $2,100, bringing you
Yeah.
closer to Dustin, but not quite there. It's the second week in a row we've seen the Patriots suffer pretty bad. Mac Jones has not looked great. Bailey Zappi came in relief, not necessarily because Jones got benched.
Number 30.
Joey, do you think we see a changing quarterback for the Patriots here?
I'm not a head coach in the NFL, so I can't say that I'm definitely going to see that. I would like to see it though, because I don't think Mac Jones is the answer there in New England. And I know they took him out because they were down by 30, but I think it's worth seeing what they have in Bailey Zappi. I really do.
Dustin, do you agree here?
I don't think they took him out just because they were down by 30. I think they just
Okay.
straight up benched him because he sucks. So I would be surprised if we see Bailey Zappi this week, if not the next. They have to make a change somewhere. It's just not clicking right now with Mac Jones. So if you have to throw in Bailey Zappi, at least see what you have in them and then make plans for the future, because that season is just quickly slipping away from them.
Man, I am going to be so mad if Mac Jones made me apologize like he did at the beginning of this season for my offseason Bailey Zappi love, only for me to get the Zapster. Like I should have just held strong.
Zap
But
attacked again.
I'm going to get Zap
Feeling
attacked again. I'm going to dive right back in. It's going to draw me in immediately if I get Zappy back
I like
in.
how you're honest with yourself.
Yeah, I know who I am. I'm not going to fight it. Grim Fan's with me, says bring back Zappy, but Tim says nah, leave Mac Jones in until Dustin and I get to play him again. He wants one more Dolphins and Bills matchup against Mac Jones.
I'm fine with that too.
No
I'm not
way,
sure
Mac
Zappy is that
Jonesy.
much better, but at least you can see what you have. So
He's got a better name. You can do this. Pew pew, zap zap the whole
yep, you
time.
can do the zip zap. I mean,
It's like
he's
with Mac
definitely more.
Jones.
He's the more memeable quarterback.
You just go like this. Mac Tech. And you just sound like you're trying to be cool about
They've each
something.
got cool names.
Yep. Tomato. All right. Well, JL, you got a little bit of work here to catch up, but you're not too far behind. Easily doable in one puzzle. Are you ready for the next one?
Indeed.
Okay, good, because Joey solved that one, and that means you are up first here. This is an NFL headline. Like a question, or would you like to solve?
Question.
Okay. My question for you, John Lucas, who had more receiving yards in week 5? Who had more receiving yards in week 5? Was it Zay Flowers or was it Gabe Davis?
Gabe Davis.
Indeed it was. Which letter would you like?
Give me an N.
An N. There's one N in this puzzle. Going to add 500 to your
Fantastic.
round score. So great. Would you like another question or would you like to buy any vowels?
Wonderful. I would like another question, please.
Okay. Who had more receiving yards in week 5? Who had more receiving yards in week 5? Was it DJ Moore or was it Jamar Chase?
It was. Oh.
Ooh. Oof.
Jamar Chase.
I'm sorry, John Luke. DJ Moore had 230 to Jamar Chase's 192.
I know Jalen are odds right now. That was rude because that was 1 and 2 on the week, wasn't it?
That was one.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
there was a
that's
solid
rude.
40. It
There's
was a
a
solid 40
difference.
yards
Yeah, I
separating them. It was beyond the threshold, but
I'm on Team JL right now. I'm against Team Simon right now.
oh,
That was
shoot.
rude.
I've
Thanks,
turned
Joe.
everyone against me.
Oh.
Dustin, would you like a question or would you like to solve?
Yeah, give me a question.
Who had more receiving yards on the week? Who had more receiving yards on the week? Was it DeAndre Hopkins or was it Cooper Kupp?
Cooper Kupp.
I'm sorry, it was DeAndre Hopkins with a 140-yard
Wow.
week. Joey, we are on to you. Would you like a question or would you
Here
like to
I am.
solve?
A question, please.
Okay. Who had more receiving yards on the week? Who had more receiving yards on the week? Was it Adam Thielen or was it Tyreek Hill?
Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill is correct. Which letter would you like?
T for Tyreek.
T for Tyreek. There are
Son of a
4
gun.
T's in this puzzle. Your turn.
TNT. Okay. A question, please.
Okay, my question for you, Joey. My question for you is I want to know
That make you giggle.
which NFL team has more passing yards through the first 5 weeks of the season. So this is NFL team passing offense. Is it
Okay.
the Houston Texans or is it the Los Angeles Chargers?
Oh God. I'll still say the Chargers.
By about 300 yards. It is the Houston Texans.
Oh, because they
Number-
played this week.
Number
Oh,
3 by that metric. Yeah, that would probably do it, Joey, which means John Luke, we are on to you. Oh, we're reaching a beautiful point of trivia in the season where you have to start remembering bye weeks and who's had them and who hasn't. Joe, would you like a question or would you like to solve?
Let's go with a question.
You can also buy a vowel. Sorry for reducing your options.
That's okay. I'll take a question.
Question number 1, which NFL team has more passing yards through the first 5 weeks of the season? Which NFL team has more passing yards? Is it the Buffalo Bills or is it the Dallas Cowboys?
Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo Bills are correct. John Luke, which letter would you like?
Let's go with an S.
S. There are 6 S's in this puzzle. Don't call it a comeback, John Luke. That is $3,500 in your round bank. You can buy vowels if you would like to do so. You can take question number 2 or you can solve.
Let's buy some vowels. Let's go with an A.
An A. There are 2 A's in this puzzle. Your options remain the same.
Let's go with can I buy an I?
You can buy an I. There are 2 I's in this puzzle.
Okay. I will take a question.
Take a question. Oh, no. Sorry. I know you guys are out of the chat because you're not cheaters, but we just got an update. Aaron Jones won't play tonight.
Ooh.
Well, my fantasy lineups with Aaron Jones and then with no backup option are unhappy right now. We're going to have to figure that out. All right, John Luke. Question number 2 coming your way. Which offense has more rushing yards through the first 5 weeks of the season? Which offense has more rushing yards through the first 5 weeks of the season? Is it the Baltimore Ravens or is it the Miami Dolphins?
You said rushing?
Rushing.
Dolphins.
Dolphins are correct. Which letter would you like, John Luke?
Let's go with an R.
An R. There are 3 R's in this puzzle. You can buy more vowels. You can move on to your third question or you can solve.
I'm so scared right now. Let's buy another vowel. Let's go with an
Stop it.
O.
An O. There are 3 O's in this puzzle. Subtracting 300, bringing it down to 4,300. Your options remain the same.
All right, let's buy an E.
An E. There are 3 E's in this puzzle. Subtracting 300.
Let's get that U off the board too.
Okay. There are 2 U's, and that is all of the vowels. You're down at 3,800. John Luke, you can take your third question. You can solve this puzzle. That's it. That's all you can do. I guess you could turn off your computer and like go to Wendy's or something.
I would like another question.
Okay. Question number 3. Yeah. Question number 3 for you, John Luke. Which offense has more rushing yards through the first 5 weeks of the season? Which offense has more rushing yards? Is it the Tennessee Titans or is it the Indianapolis Colts?
Titans.
I'm sorry, John Luke. It is
No!
the Indianapolis Colts with 656 to the Titans 533, which means, Dustin, we are on to you. JL filled this out nicely for you. Would you like to solve? Would you like a question? Or would you like to quit?
Well, I know what it is, but I want some money, so give me a question.
Okay, my question for you,
goodness.
Dustin, is which offense has more rushing yards through the first 5 weeks of the season? Which offense has more rushing yards? Is it the Buffalo Bills or is it the Arizona Cardinals?
Oh, man. Give me the Arizona Cardinals.
You would be right. I tried to play against your homerism and it did not work. Which letter would you like, Dustin?
Give me an H.
An H. There are 2 H's in this puzzle. Going to add a grand. I'm guessing you would like another question.
Yeah, give me another one.
Okay. Here's your question. Which of these offenses has more rushing yards through the first 5 weeks of the season? Which of these offenses has more rushing yards? Is it the San Francisco 49ers, or is it the Cleveland Browns?
49ers.
49ers are correct. Which letter would you like, Dustin?
Give me a G.
A G?
Yep.
Okay, just make sure. There are 2 G's in this puzzle. Would you like to solve? Would you like your third and final question, or would you like to buy a vowel? No, there's no more vowels.
I will.
Wow.
And I'll just solve. I've risked it enough.
Okay.
Patriots suffer second straight huge loss.
This is Patriots suffer second straight huge loss. Kind of theming with our Mac and Jonesy and cheese. Coming in here talking about the Patriots loss. The chat was all over this one. Except Scampers came in with a home loss. And Craig, with the assist, said, or huge loss. Nice job, Craig, figuring that one out.
Well done.
Dustin, you're going to bank $2,000, taking the lead there. John Luke, so close to taking the lead over everybody in that one.
Don't matter.
Before we move on to our next puzzle, though, we had a question in here from Johnny D. Said, down by 35. Do Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs pull off a Monday night miracle? I also have Jacoby Myers as a flex. John Luke, what do you think?
I think they do it. 35? I don't think they do it.
Wait, is he saying he also has Jacoby Myers? Like 3 players in tonight's game and he needs 35 points from the 3 of them?
Yeah.
That's doable.
I don't know. I like those odds. Between Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs, one of them has decent odds to get you 20 plus points, and then you just need 13 combined from the other 2. I'm feeling
Is Adams playing? Have we got confirmation on that?
I guess we do not know for sure.
I think he's expected to play. It was the last
I
week.
think he was expected. That's what last thing I heard. But 35, if it's 2 of them, that's probably not unlikely. But if it's all 3, it's probably likely.
Damn. Well, Johnny D, let us know how it played out. I love a Monday night sweat. We've got one in our listener league going on tonight between our friend Rick Butts and Tim Wright. Tim is on the precipice of defeat. If Jacoby Myers scores like more than 1.5 PPR points, Tim will go home in the Front Yard Fantasy Listener League. When he's got, honestly, one of the best teams in the league. He has been near the top or the top of each week's weekly leaderboard. But we will see. We will see. Tim said, I don't want to talk about it in the chat. Tim's praying for Jacoby Myers just to forget how to play football tonight. All right. Well, we got some more puzzles here. Puzzle number 5 coming your way. It's a double rhyme time day. I wrote this one last week. We did not get to it, so we're getting to it.
Can't you make small puzzles?
No.
Just little puzzles.
There's no point.
That's all you got to do is little puzzles.
So few letters. When I get little puzzles, we end up with like Mac and Jonesy and cheese, JL. The more letters, the less likely I am to write something like that or copy something like that from a genius like Craig. All right. Who solved that last one? Dustin did, which means Joey, you are up first.
Pass.
Okay, John. I'm just kidding. Joey, my question for you is, according to the FanDuel Sportsbook, which of these players has better odds to be an anytime touchdown scorer? And just to clarify for everyone, anytime touchdown scorer is the player that is holding the ball when it goes into the end zone. So a passing touchdown does not count. Also, better odds, I don't mean like that you would rather bet on. I mean more favored, according to the FanDuel Sportsbook. So, Joey, which of these players has better odds to be an anytime touchdown scorer in tonight's game? Is it A.J. Dillon or is it Christian Watson?
When did this news? I'll just say Christian Watson.
I'm sorry, Joey. It is A.J. Dillon at minus 120.
Excuse me, Watson, Joey, can you please check your text? And Simon, can you check the chat? Thank you so much.
Okay.
And we've been paged by our Lord Maria. Apparently, she has omniscient powers at this point. I'm supposed to check the chat.
This is apparently Scott Fish related.
It might be Scott Fish related. Scott Fish stopped by saying, Maria, I must have the wrong number for you. Also, can you run in and tell JL to tell Simon to look at the chat and tell Joey to check his text?
Nice. I'm off the hook, so I'm good.
And I just want to emphasize how important the message from Scott is that I'm reading right now. Definitely life or death situation. So
read it to us.
Thank you. It says, Joey, did you look at my tool? No. It says, who is doing the fantasy fortune for Halloween week? I have a great one. Scott, in 2 weeks, I'm going to reach out to you to get that puzzle. Thank you.
Scott in here saying watching JL's face during that had me rolling. I thought JL orchestrated it. And also the clarity with which Maria's
Oh,
voice
yeah.
came through as if it was on a PA system in all of our ears was absurd. I thought
How
I was
did
getting
she
called to
get
the
in here?
principal's office.
Yeah.
How did she
Dale's
get
got
in?
some serious microphone power there.
What can I say?
Oh, did she just grab a microphone?
I just unmuted myself and she talked.
Oh.
All right. Well, Dale, it is your turn. Would you like a question?
Yes,
it's
question, please.
You got it wrong, Joey.
Oh, I did?
Yeah, you said Christian.
Sorry,
Watson
the voice of
over
God
AJ
threw me
Dillon.
off.
Yeah.
Why were you turned on?
What?
Why were you turned on?
He got a question wrong and he likes it when I tell him now. John Luke,
Yes.
would you like a question or do you want to
Yes,
solve it?
question, please.
Okay. According to the FanDuel Sportsbook, which of these players is more favored to be an anytime touchdown scorer tonight? Is it Jacoby Myers or is it Jaden Reed?
Jacoby Myers.
Jacoby Myers is correct. Plus 240 to Jaden Reed at plus 330. Which letter do you like?
Let's go with a R.
R, as in really?
Yeah.
Well, there's one of those in there. You're going to
Really?
earn $500.
All right.
What would you like to do next?
I'll take a question.
A question?
Yeah.
Okay. My question for you, John Luke, is we're going to go back to some fantasy points, but we're talking season long at this point. So this is fantasy points through 5 weeks. Which of these players has more PPR fantasy points through the first 5 weeks of the season? Is it Deebo Samuel or is it Michael Thomas?
Oh. Debo.
Deebo is correct, JL. Which letter would you like?
T.
T. There are
Ooh.
4 T's in this
Look at them
puzzle.
buns.
Giving you 2,500 buns in that bun bank. Would you like to
Wow.
go to question number 3? Would you like to buy a vowel or would you like to solve?
Let's go to question 3.
What is this one? Oh, yeah. That's a good one. Question number 3. Who has more PPR points through the first 5 weeks of the season? Who has more PPR points through the first 5 weeks of the season? Is it Tyreek Hill or is it Justin Jefferson?
Jefferson.
I'm sorry, John Luke. The
No.
number 1 wide receiver on the season, Tyreek Hill,
That's
Justin
dumb.
Jefferson down at 6, which means, Dustin, we are on to you. Would you like a question or would you like to solve?
Question, please.
Okay. My question for you is who has more PPR fantasy points through the first 5 weeks of the season? Who has more PPR fantasy points through the first 5 weeks? Is it A.J. Brown or is it Stephon Diggs?
AJ Brown.
I'm sorry, Dustin. It's your boy, Stephon Diggs on the Bills, which means, Joey, we are on to you. Would you like a question or would you like to solve?
I'm going to take a question.
Okay. Who has more PPR fantasy points through the first 5 weeks of the season? Who has more, Joey? Is it Adam Thielen or is it Christian Kirk?
Christian Kirk.
I am sorry. It is
I refuse to believe that. No.
98 PPR fantasy points to Christian Kirk 70.1.
Oh, man, Thielen.
Oh,
No.
man.
Doing.
Yeah,
You're
Christian
leaving a
Kirk.
week out,
Yeah.
Simon. Okay.
Adam Thielen's the number 9 wide receiver on the season thus far, which means, John Luke, we are on to you.
Yep.
Craig in here also said, I thought it was an angel taking over the show. Scott Fish said, amazing teacher voice. I wasn't sure if it was an angel or someone. The teacher voice is what got me. I had flashbacks to being called to the principal's office from like kindergarten. Like I immediately went into like, what did I do?
You
Whose
know
turn
what
is
you
it?
did. It's my.
It's John Luke's turn.
It's not my turn. I got it wrong.
It's Dustin's turn. No, Dustin got it. It's Joey's turn, and
No.
Joey got it
Wrong.
No.
wrong. So JL, it is your turn.
It's back
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're all the way
Wow.
back to
Yeah.
you.
Back to you.
Incredible. I'll take a question.
Okay. My question for you is it's a funny message from Carlos in there. Who has more PPR fantasy points through the first 5 weeks? Who has more PPR fantasy points through the first 5 weeks? Is it Drake London or is it Tutu Atwell?
Oh no. Oh no. I don't know. Tutu.
And you would be right, John Luke. Which
I
letter would you
hated
like?
that. That made me feel gross.
But you did it.
Don't make me do it again.
I won't ask that question again today.
I'll take an H.
Okay. There are 3 H's in this puzzle. JL, would you like another question? Would you like to buy any vowels, or would you like to solve?
I would like another question.
Okay, question number 2. Who has more PPR fantasy points through the first 5 weeks of the season? Who has more PPR fantasy points through the first 5 weeks of the season? Is it Tony Pollard or is it Travis Etienne Jr.?
I hate that question too, and I'll take Travis Etienne Jr.
And you would take the correct one, John Luke. Which letter would you like?
I'll take an S.
An S. There are 4 S's in this puzzle, adding $2,000. You can buy vowels. You can go on to your third and final question, or you can solve.
Third question.
Okay, question number 3. Trying to bank that money. I see you, JL. Who has more PPR fantasy points through the first 5 weeks of the season? Who has more PPR fantasy points through the first 5 weeks of the season? Is it Breece Hall or is it Bijan Robinson?
Bijan.
Bijan is correct, JL. Get this letter right. You are going to bank all of this money.
Give me the V.
Give you the V. There is 1 V in this puzzle, adding 500. What a brave final letter. John Luke, you've got 5 seconds to solve, but you're going to bank 6,500 here.
No idea. I just knew that word.
JL, you're going to bank 6,500 and take the lead right at the end of today's game. But Dustin, that means it is on to you. The board is yours. Would you like a question or would you like to solve? Solving will tie JL.
Give me a question.
Okay. My question for you is, who has more PPR fantasy points through the first 5 weeks of the season? Who has more PPR fantasy points? Is it Raheem Mostert or is it DeAndre Swift?
Mostert.
Mostert is correct. The number 2 PPR running back on the season so far. Which letter would you like?
Give me a W.
A W. There is 1 W in this puzzle. Would you like another question? Would you like to buy vowels or would you like to solve this?
No, question.
Okay, question number 2. Who has more PPR fantasy points through the first 5 weeks? More PPR fantasy points through the first 5 weeks. Is it Brian Robinson Jr. or is it Rashad White?
Brian Robinson.
That is correct. Which letter would you like, Dustin?
I don't know who this player is. Give me a D.
A D.
D. Give him the D.
There are 2 D's in this puzzle, adding $1,000. This is your third question we're going into, so it's your last opportunity to buy vowels if you would like to do so. Or if you get this question right and the letter, you will bank this money and secure the lead back from John Luke. What would you like to do?
Give me a question.
Okay. Question number 3. Who has more PPR fantasy points through the first 5 weeks of the season? Who has more PPR fantasy points through the first 5 weeks? Is it Jalen Warren or is it Kenneth Walker III?
Kenneth Walker.
Kenneth Walker is correct, even with the bye. Nice job, Dustin. Which letter would you like?
Man, who is this? Oh, give me a J.
A J. There are 2 J's in this puzzle. Dustin, you've got 5 seconds to solve, or you're going to bank this money.
What's that first word?
Well, Dustin, you are going to take the lead back here from JL. A yo-yo here at the end, $8,000. Joey at $2,600. JL with $6,500. But Joey, it is on to you. The board is filling up. The best. Would you like a question or would you like to solve this?
Question.
Okay. My question for you is, who has more PPR fantasy points through the first 5 weeks? Who has more PPR fantasy points through the first 5 weeks? Is it TJ Hawkinson or is it Sam Laporta?
Did Laporta pass Hawkinson? I'm going to say yes.
And you would be right. Sam Laporta is currently the number 1 PPR tight end on the season. Asterisk, Travis Kelce didn't play in week 1. Which letter would you like, Joey?
N.
N.
No.
There are 3 N's in this puzzle. Going to add 1,500. What would you like to do next?
I'm going to buy a vowel.
Okay, which vowel?
Stop it.
I.
An I.
Dustin, if I solve this.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's going to bring you down to 1,000. Joey, your options remain the same. You can buy another vowel. You can take question number 2, or you can solve this puzzle.
I'm going to buy another vowel.
Okay.
I'm going to buy an E. Dustin, if I solve this, you win.
I know, but you're making it easier for JL when you don't solve it.
Well, I'm going to.
That is 3 E's. Your options remain the same, Joey. Would you like question 2?
I'm gonna buy another vowel.
Just
Which
get it,
vowel?
then. Just get it, Joey.
Oh, there is 1 O in this puzzle. Your options still remain the same.
I want to buy a U.
There are
What's that
2
first word?
U's, and Joey, you can now no longer buy vowels because you are below $500. Would you like question number 2, or would you like to solve this puzzle?
Question.
Okay. My question for you is, who has more PPR fantasy points through the first 5 weeks of the season? Who has more PPR fantasy points through the first 5 weeks of the season? Is it James Cook, or is it David Montgomery?
David Montgomery.
Even with missing a game, it is David Montgomery. Which letter would you like, Joey?
I will take an M.
An M. There is 1
I
M
don't
in this
know.
puzzle. We're going to add 500. Joey, would you like to buy a vowel? Would you like to take question number 3, or would you like to solve this puzzle? You were making Dustin sweat so hard up there.
Just solve it.
I don't know. I'm gonna buy an A.
And stop solving letters.
Yeah, stop solving letters.
Joey bought the A, bringing you
Okay.
down to
I don't
800.
know how to
Shit or
spell
get
this
off the
word.
pot.
I would like to solve.
Okay.
Wait, I don't know it.
Would you like question number 3, Joey?
Yes, question 3.
Okay, question
We're not
number
against
3.
we're fine on time, guys. Don't need to yell at me.
I want to win. I don't care about time.
I don't think I can win anymore.
The Joey, the best part is you've just inserted yourself in the middle of the battle between JL and Dustin. Nobody's mad at you. They're just yelling because there's
You
nothing
have no
they
business
do
being here.
to control their fate.
You've already come in 3rd place.
Someone cut his internet.
Just sit there and be quiet and let us play.
I love your role as spoiler here, Joey. Joey, would you like question number 3?
I'm not sure yet. I think I do. Yeah, I'll take it.
Mr. Scamper said, "Poor Joey. I love you." All right.
I just want to play Fantasy Fortune.
Well, Joey, here's my question for you. Who has more
Better.
PPR fantasy points through the first 5 weeks? Is it Derrick Henry, or is it Kyron Williams?
Kyron Williams.
Kyron Williams is correct. Which letter would you like?
I'll take the G.
The G. That is correct, Joey. That's going to add 500, and you're going to bank this, but you got 5 seconds to solve.
There's only a few letters that could be there.
Defeating Jedi versus Sith with Jonnu Smith.
That is incorrect, which means, Joey, you're going to bank that money.
What am I
John Luke.
missing?
A letter.
I would like to solve
Let's hear it, JL.
debating Jedi versus Sith with Jonnu Smith.
It is debating Jedi versus Sith
You
with Jonnu
idiot,
Smith. John Luke, that is going to earn you $1,000, bringing you ever so close to Dustin. But Joey successfully blocked you by solving all of
Good job,
those letters and being able
Dumbass.
to claim
I don't
the
understand why I was
victory
getting
here.
yelled at. Listen, I don't understand this puzzle. Debating Jedi? What's that?
Debating Jedi versus Sith. Which one's better, Jedi or Sith?
Oh,
You're debating Jedi
Jonnu
versus
Smith
Sith.
is the Jedi, and Kyle Pitts is the Sith because he's
I'm not a Star Trek guy. Sorry, guys.
There it
Good
is.
one, Joe.
Classic. Never heard that one.
Dustin, is Jonnu Smith on the Jedi side or the Smith side?
He's
Or the
clearly
Sith
on the
side?
Jedi side because
You think
Kyle
so?
Pitts sucks.
Joe, you agree if Jonnu Smith was in the Star Wars universe, he'd be donning a Jedi lightsaber?
Oh, yeah. He'd probably be a Jedi. He's such a nice guy.
I can see it. Something about him just screams Jedi. Maria in here with the congrats, Dustin. And Dustin, absolutely. That went back and forth there at the end. And honestly, your hashtag Team Joey, hashtag Team Chat shirt is
It worked
for this episode.
It's
Joey
collusion.
came in with the assist there at the
Thank you, Joey.
end, pulling all those letters out.
Sorry, I yelled at you.
Fine. It's like my childhood traumas all happening at once.
Well,
And now your
childhood.
childhood crush is right outside.
Yeah,
God, Joey, so stupid.
I'm pretty sure JL called you stupid. I just said you
That
solid.
was.
He's called
I
me
believe the
my
words I
sister.
said was dumbass.
Joey, in good news for you, we have our friend
Yeah.
Carlos in here saying, I want it to be public knowledge that I, Carlos Rodriguez, forgive Joey Wright for telling me to start Anthony Richardson over Fields this week. Joey, you didn't know that Anthony
That's-
Richardson would get hurt.
in my defense, I kept saying to Carlos, I have him back to back. I'm really close between the two.
No, and you can't predict injuries out here. I feel like this was the week of just like good starts over good starts. There were so many players that blew up this week. Let's hope it continues tonight on Monday Night Football. That is going to be it for us today. Another big congrats to our friend Dustin. And if you're not already following him, go and fix it right now on Twitter at @TheDUnit13. And check out his work over at Dynasty Nerds and the QB List as well. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern time for some more fantasy football game show fun. Until then, though, we are out of here. Go watch some Monday Night Football. Go make some mac and Jonesy and cheese and go sniff your armpits. Have a good one, everybody.